Hi everyone. Hello. We are telling your followers that you're starting a live. Beautiful. Isn't it great that we can use the technology to get together? Hello, Dr. ML. Hello, Rona. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Shireen. Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. What a great day today, guys. I'm doing a join live with Anna Marie. I don't know if you remember her or not. She is an expert in ADHD, and our live today is about the expansion of gratitude. Isn't that great, guys? Every time I hear someone who is very successful, there's never a time that I notice they haven't spoken about being grateful and the power of gratefulness, the energy. So today topic is going to be very interesting. And once I get Anna Marie, if you guys like to join our lives, you're more than welcome to do that. You have to send a request so I can add you, that you guys can also share our lives. Okay. Let me know, guys, where are you joining me from? What country? What city? And also, I think that Doris is going to join us too. Let me know if you watched my last live with Doris. She's so much fun. She's one of our young light worker that is very awake, and she's here to transfer more love and light to our planet Earth. So that's beautiful. I might also have Jeff to join us shortly. So we're gonna see how our live goes today. I'm just fully present and grateful for how our journey together is gonna take place today, and however or wherever it goes, we are sure that is the best way that could happen. Acceptance, guys, acceptance. I did 2 private coaching lessons today before I start this live. And the last one, I talked to her about resistance and not accepting what is. So before my lovely Anna Marie join us, I'm going to tell you briefly the story, because I know she didn't mind that I share it with you guys, and we all know sharing is the way that we help other. Here she is. What a girl. She's right. So I tell you guys about this later. Let me. Good morning, Lovey.
Good morning, Sudie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited to see you again. I was really enjoying our conversation last time.
Me too. I just love your energy. You're so high and glowing. What's up, Anna Marie? What's up?
I know, right?
Are
I
you
just
in
have,
love? Come on, share. What's
I,
going on, Anna Marie?
I am in love with life, sweetie. I honestly just have lately, I think the more I kind of work on myself and just get to a place where I'm genuinely happy with myself, it's every day is amazing. And yeah, I just, I'm in love with the magic of life and what we're here to experience. And so it's really cool. Yeah, that's where my energy comes from. Not in
That's
love.
beautiful. I had a Farsi live yesterday, and you're familiar with Rumi, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, the Persian poem, and I was talking about it. I said all his life he was in love and in ecstasy with his beloved God, and how great it is when we experience that. And I experience that every single day when I'm facing God and I'm experiencing God in every second, in every moment, in any human that I get into interaction with, and whatever goes on in life. So
Yeah.
this morning I had two private coaching sessions before I started this live, because I'm waking up 3 a.m. now instead of 4 a.m. Anna Marie. So it's like, what the heck am I doing 3 a.m. in the dark? But it's lovely. I'm enjoying it. It gives me plenty of time to catch up. Because at the moment I have about 10 people who are helping me out with all my social medias and all that stuff, and they're from all over the place, from Iran, from Sweden, from England, and we all have different time zone. So it's anyhow. So I was talking to her, and she said, I want to leave where I'm at right now, go to a different country. And I said, why? She goes, oh, because when I look at people, they're just so mean and they're just so dark. And I said, listen, honey, it's all your projections.
Yeah.
When you're looking at every person out there, are you seeing the God within them?
Hmm.
And then she had an aha moment and she says, no, I don't. I said, then you coming from your ego mind and you're projecting something and you're not really seeing the God within them. And I told her, I said, yesterday I went to visit a couple of friends and I was walking, I'm not unconsciously, I have this smile. And I look at everyone, I'm like, oh, people are so nice and friendly. They are so smiling, not realizing it's a
Yeah.
projection of me.
Yeah.
And this lady, she just was rushing to get out of a public garage. And as we hit each other in a second, and she really broke hard on her car. And then I just kept that smile, and she came to herself and she started smile back. I said, so it's all about me. I could have just get mad at her and like, what's wrong with you? Why are you driving so fast? Don't you know this is the pedestrian lane? No, I just smiled, and I brought it to her attention that she can smile back and
Yeah.
enjoy and slow down. Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, so I can't wait to get to our topic today, Anna Marie. Lead us the way.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know me, I work with ADHD entrepreneurs, and I am an ADHD entrepreneur. So I coach them and help them get to a place where where they're not being the made for more entrepreneur anymore. They're getting in touch with being a powerful CEO and what that looks like. And so one of the things that I think is really, really powerful, that has been really present in my life lately and that I, want to bring to the world is the power of gratitude and what that looks like on an entrepreneurial journey, not just for entrepreneurs, but, I think when we are really in touch with what gratitude is and, the magic of life, like we were just talking about, and realizing that every experience that we have is for our evolution and for our growth. And when we realize how connected we all are, and using the power of gratitude to call in more things into your life. So, more opportunities, more abundance, more wealth, more everything. When you are
Mhm.
in this intense state of gratitude, it can pull more opportunities into your life. It can transmute old things such as um, sadness, pain, grief, all of that kind of stuff. It can transmute it into, love and appreciation and yeah, gratitude for what you were experiencing. So I have had so many like huge realizations lately about that, and how powerful it is to create the life that you want for yourself, right? So um it's been amazing what I've been experiencing lately. And so that's my mission this week. That's what I've been on this week, is the gratitude train. So um yeah.
So lead us through it. I mean, while you're experiencing this gratitude zone, and maybe we should start a gratitude 21-day challenge together. How
Yeah.
does that look like? So when I wake up first thing in the morning, where do I start?
So I think for everything, I every morning, one of the planners that I use called the Align Planner. Each morning, it has sections in it for, your morning ritual, your self-love, like what did you do to love yourself this morning or today? It has affirmations. Did you choose happiness? Because I think that's a really powerful thing. Happiness is a choice, and no matter what's happening outside, no matter what the weather looks like, it's an internal state that we can all reach. We were born with happiness inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the other thing that I do as well in this planner, it goes through gratitude. So I'll always write down, 5 things that I'm grateful for first thing in the morning. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really taking the time to stop. Once kind of get through the first few weeks, was like, okay, well, I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for all these things. And then, as time goes on, you need to find different things to be grateful for. That's what I try to do, is find different things to be grateful for. And then you start realizing, especially in my niche, I have a lot of people who um, think that ADHD is a bad thing, or think that it is something that is working against you. And so, how can you look at that and say, okay, I'm grateful for it? I'm grateful for it because I had to learn about myself. I had to learn about
Yeah.
what works for me, what doesn't, what, I went on this journey that I hated it for so long. I see a lot of people, they hate their ADHD. They hate the way their brain operates. They hate the way that it works. And so it's learning to, okay, say, even though maybe some days are challenging for you, your brain is keeping you
Mhm.
alive. Have the respect for it, that it's showing up for you every single day, getting you through the day, and reminding yourself, one of the affirmations that one of my great friends shared with me was um, every morning, you say, I'm grateful for my heart for beating. I'm grateful for my soul for knowing, and then I'm grateful for my brain for thinking. So when you kind of get in touch with that and take the moment and take the time to um, connect with that, you start getting in touch with the magic of life. Exactly like what you were saying. You start seeing the God within yourself. You start seeing the God within other people, and allowing yourself
Mhm.
to experience that. So I think when you are in a state of gratitude, it's so much easier to navigate the challenges that you're coming up against in your life, And I often find too, when I am in a state of intense gratitude, clients are popping up out of nowhere, right? They just flood in the gates. I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is energetically putting myself into a state of gratitude, and they just pop up. I'm not kidding you, from everywhere.
I know, it's just like magic. I know every time you start being grateful, the energy of gratefulness is so profound. It's just like the universe is like, here are all the goodies that you were waiting
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's so true. And so the more that, we take the time to really stop and slow down, um, the easier things become, because then you start attracting the things into your life energetically. You're not doing it in the 3D anymore. So it becomes easier because you don't have to do as many activities anymore. You can put your attention and your focus on other things, and that's when things really start to open up for you. So, oh my gosh, I could talk about this topic. There's so many different avenues, but I guess one of the questions I also have for you is, how would you incorporate gratitude into your day, and what kind of role does it play for you?
Yeah, so basically, as soon as I wake up, this is my everyday state, right? The minute I wake up, um, because I'm a very light sleeper, and I get so many things during the night. So I don't know if I can call them dreams, or if I can call them downloads. So the first thing that I do, actually, I try to remember everything that was going on that during the night, and try to hold on to it, because the mind cannot absorb all this information. So I try to not lose the information and try to gather them and kind of put them together. um, but then again, I'm not trying to fix the puzzle or to solve the puzzle and go into that state. I wonder what that means. I wonder what that means. I just hold on to that information. And then I said, I trust that during the day, um, it will show up. I will know why and how and whatever. So sometimes it's like I get a lot of previews of the day. For instance, I'm going to have a session and I get a piece about um, something. And then what, I don't get it when I wake up, but while I'm in a real time with my coaching session, suddenly that information come and I said, oh, this was for you. Now I get it. Like I didn't know previously what it was. So I try to gather all this stuff. And then the next step is I put a cup of coffee and I come out. And then, it's 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. It's all dark and very quiet and all this. And I just try to be in a silence for a few seconds, just tapping into that silence and nothingness, the darkness.
Yeah.
And then I count my blessings. It might not be every day, but for sure, I experience God. And then the question that I always ask, how can I be at service today?
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
and then I go again to the silence, just to hear. Sometimes I hear, do this or do that. Sometimes it's just pure nothingness, so I'm not looking for anything. Whatever I get from that, and I know that if I don't get it right away, it's just going to show itself up during the day. But being grateful, to be really transparent, maybe I don't do it every day, but for sure, I always connect to Angel Michael to protect my energy field for the day, because I'm in touch with so many people.
Mm-hmm.
My lives are almost every day. It's either Farsi or English. So it's basically 7 days a week. Some days there's a double lives, Farsi and English. And then sessions, and working with people, my assistants all over the place. So it's a lot of interaction. And
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I ask Angel Michael to surround me and hold on to my energy, so I don't get crashed with all these different sort of energies. And then I go on with my day. So that's how I do it, Marianne.
I love that so much. And I think the more that you get in touch with the energy that you have within yourself, the more that you become more aware of how you are spending your time, and how it's who you're connected to and how you're connected, right? So what you say about the silence, I think, is so powerful because, I used to run around staying as busy as possible, working 60 hours a week, trying to do all the things, and it actually doesn't work. The more time that I spend in silence, again, the more that you start drawing things to you and allow your brain to process the information that you've been receiving and sitting with the nothingness. It's such a powerful, powerful, powerful place. And I just actually sat in silence for 4 hours on Saturday. And
Wow.
by the time, you're done, it's so nice. You don't want to connect to your phone. You don't even want to be near it. You just want to be in this very peaceful, blissful state. And takes about 3 hours to actually get there where your brain stops. So, yeah.
I have this, yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I get some days, not every single days, but some days, maybe in the afternoon, that is just like so much information and things has happened. I take it 20 minutes. Um, I don't know if I should call it nap time, because as soon as my head hits the pillow, is like boom, I'm gone. It doesn't even take a second. And then I wake up, it's like first thing in the morning, fresh, full of energies, and I'm just so into it. And all I need some days is 20 minutes nap in the afternoon, which some people call it meditation or whatever. But I don't allow myself, I have to admit, to get that every single day. Some days, the majority of days, I really push myself to, let's get this done, let's get this done. And then I resign by 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is like phone off. I don't want to hear, I don't want to see another email. I don't want to hear anything else.
Yeah.
So, I'm just, it's like so much brain power, because, like, this is really funny, Anna Marie. I used to, maybe I always worked with 2 or 3 people in the last few years as my assistant. And now they keep adding up. And the more assistants and helpers I get, instead of me having less job, somehow I ended up with more interaction and more
Yeah.
job. And I don't, I
Yeah.
still haven't figured that out. How is it? Like more people and more work, my job is even become, because their demand is becoming more, So like first thing in the morning when I come, we have a group with them in WhatsApp. We have another team group on Telegram. I don't know. Have you got on Telegram yet, Anna Marie?
Yeah, yeah, I use it for my clients. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been, in Middle East, we use Telegram the whole time. So but I see that Westerner, they're just becoming familiar and see what an amazing, great platform Telegram is, because we're sending huge files through Telegram, and it's so safe.
Yeah.
It's not like the other guys that I don't want to name, that they're becoming so powerful and they're just controlling everything. Anyhow, so we have all these different team groups that we're searching, and then it's like loads of demand. Can you send us a voice for this? Can you send us, Subijan, can you send us like the 1 or 2 minutes things for this? And it's like constant demands. And I believe, Anna Marie, every single day as we wake up, we're going to school. And
Hmm.
there are so many classes that we're taking. So for me, I always hated to make decisions. And now I'm at the position that literally every 10 seconds I have to make a decision you
Hmm.
know like I don't even have time to analyze. It's like boom, I have to come up right away. Yeah, this or no, that, or do this or do that. And change, I hated changes. And now I'm so proud of myself to embracing change. And the minute something happens, I'm just like, okay, I'm surrendering to it. I'm just gonna be vulnerable enough and embrace this change, which has been one of the hardest tasks for me,
Hmm.
to go with the change. You know, I don't want to typecast, but I'm a Taurians, and Taurians are known for sticking into their daily routines and no changes and no surprises. They're not spontaneous like Sagittarius and all that. But anyhow, I'm moving on and embracing the changes right now.
Yeah, I think as your business grows and as your business evolves and as we change, you the more that you surrender to it and kind of allow things to unfold and step into that feminine, it makes things so much easier. I used to be so energetically masculine, like just so driving all the time, pushing, 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 trying to force my everything to happen. And the more that I actually step into the feminine and allow things to unfold, oh my gosh, like life is so much better and so much easier. So, and it makes change a lot better as well. I think um, with all the changes that we're experiencing globally in our own lives and how we navigate that comes down to what you were saying in the beginning, your perception of what you're projecting onto the world and how you're allowing these things to infiltrate into you and affect you. So um, I like I like how you mentioned the surrender there a lot.
Yeah, yesterday I had a client and he was extremely OCD, and he was telling me that he came from a childhood that they were extremely poor. And then, you know how it is, like the Jewish people, when the Holocaust happened, they said never again. So him and his family, they also said this, were in the same place, that they said never again we're going to experience lack and scarcity and all this stuff. So he was a very go-getter, and when we were talking, I picked his energy was just so um toxic,
Hmm.
and so it took us a long time for me to get it, that the fuel that you're using is not the right fuel. I said, look, when you're going to put gas in your car, you have three options. Are you going to put the cheapest gas, or are you going to use the medium, or are you going to use the most expensive gas? I said, a lot of people think, oh, let me use the cheapest one, but they don't know the cheapest quality. You're going to run out of it much quicker. So it's best for us to use the most expensive gas, because although we're paying more for it, but it's going to last a lot longer. On the long term, you're actually saving money from
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
So then he realized what I was talking about. I said, look, don't get me wrong. I've been in your place. I was a OCD myself, I had to take the ladders off. I had to achieve and achieve. But I was doing all that with so much anxiety and stress. I was using the wrong gas. As I got older and I matured up and I um, become more knowledgeable, I realized that I still can do the same thing, but being at ease and in a
Hmm.
state of flow and
Yeah.
acceptance. And
Yeah.
then you don't lose so much energy. And
Oh my
then
God, yeah.
at one point, it was shocking when he said to me, he said, I hate it if I find out somebody is more successful than me. I want to crush them. And I said, look, this is really poisonous. I
Yeah.
mean, I said, eventually, when we become more aware and awakened, not only we don't despise other people's success, we constantly ask ourselves, how can I help them to
Hmm.
grow and become more successful. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, look, we don't, I'm not trying to say that we have a God or the universe who's going to punish us, but I said there is a law of karma. That sow, whatever you sow, you're gonna receive it. So I said to him, I said, if you have all this bitterness and this hatred and this competition and jealousy, and you don't want anybody else to be better than you or anybody else to be more successful, this is a poisonous energy. So eventually it's going to get back to you, you
Mm-hmm.
know and then I said to him, I said, why are you so much after success? What's the end of it? And he said, oh, then I'm gonna be happy, I think, and I'm gonna have this inner peace and joy. I said, don't get fooled by that. I
Yeah,
said,
it's
it's never
backwards.
gonna happen. The
Yeah.
inner peace is within you. It's not going to happen with your achievement. I said, I was there. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When my mind and ego was driving me, I always thought more success means happier life and more inner peace. But it didn't matter how much I achieved, it never made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said to him, I said, sometimes when you don't want to slow down and learn the lesson, I'm not saying that universe is vicious, but the universe gets your attention or forces you into something else. I said, look, I work with many people who experienced cancer or like really severe illnesses because
Mm-hmm.
they weren't learning on their own. They were pushing, 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 being, angry and have so much hatred in them. And then the universe said, look, if you're not going to stop on your own, we're going to stop you. We're going to slow down. I said,
Mm-hmm.
so how would it be if you slow down on your own?
Yeah. It's yeah, you were captivating me with everything that you were saying. I think it was the same thing. I came from a place of being in that masculine energy, driving, 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 but you don't realize that the person who is doing the doing, exactly like you said, the
Mhm.
energy behind it is not the best energy that it could be, right? You can do the same amount of stuff, but when you are being somebody who is calm, kind, patient, you know, someone who is surrendering, you can still achieve the same things, but behind it, energetically, you're signaling to the universe something that is very, very different. And my story was when I was in that masculine energy, it was like just driving force. When you're contacting somebody, I was contacting them out of like a force, and the universe just blocks you from it. It doesn't allow you to have that. It's like you want to work really hard and you want to have all this energy behind it and anxiety. Like, okay, we'll make it hard for you. So,
Mhm.
I used to have really high anxiety. I'd get overwhelmed super easily.
Mhm.
And I just thought I had to have everything like right now, right now, right now. A lot of people with ADHD, they just want it now, and we move really quickly. But it was learning how to stop associating with the anxiety. For me to get rid of the anxiety that I had to just stop. And it's learning that it's okay if you take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes in the day to just sit down and come back to yourself. And we live in a society where we are taught that your worth is in the things that you're doing, and your worth is in the things that you are achieving and accomplishing. But, your
Mhm.
worth comes from being a human, merely existing, and your worth comes from just who you are inside, right? And not things externally. And so, like with my clients, I use something, you've probably heard of it, the inside out approach. You focus on feeling wealthy inside, you focus on feeling abundant inside, you work on feeling grateful inside, you work on connecting with all of this stuff inside of you first. And then everything else externally starts to fall into place easily. So then you're not worrying about having that yucky energy behind it anymore. So, yeah, for me to get to that place where I stopped associating with the anxiety and the anger and all of that stuff, I had to take time and stop in my days when I first was breaking the pattern of anxiety. You know, that's all that it is. It's a pattern. When I was learning to stop doing that, I had to take 5 minutes, sit down, every time I'd feel it come up, sit down, go and sit down, wait for it to pass, and then continue working. And so it took a long time for me to break that, maybe like well, not really that long, 2 or 3 weeks, of like I really slowed down my work day. As soon as I feel it come, leave, go for a walk, sit down. So now, like, I virtually, anxiety is a thing of the past now. And what you were mentioning about anger as well. Um, People hold so much anger from things that happened in the past or resentment towards things, and they don't even realize that A, they're still hanging on to it, B, how it's still affecting their lives, and it
Mm,
causes harm inside of your body, like you were saying. It causes um like not dealing with your emotional baggage and addressing the things that you've just been suppressing. It expresses itself in some way or another inside of your body. Um,
mhm.
and there's research about it everywhere on how, this stuff can be worked through. I have a really good friend of mine. He has a business helping people eliminate their physical pain by dealing with their emotional baggage. And it's crazy the results that he gets from it, because people will have back pain that has persisted for 20 years, and when you actually realize the root problem of it was some kind of
Yeah,
emotional event that you didn't deal with, then it goes away almost instantly, right? And
yeah.
so I think now that the world is waking up after our great conjunction, it's getting to a place of realizing how to move yourself to a higher consciousness, to when you have something that's upset you, allow yourself to process that emotion and sit with it and feel it, and then move yourself to a different interpretation and a different understanding of what the situation might mean. Because a lot of people, for example, they have ADHD and they think the diagnosis is the end of the world. They think that the world is against them, and they hold a lot of anger and resentment to, why isn't my brain work the way everybody else's? Why am I the one that was cursed with this? And it's not about that. It's about just how you're showing up in the world, and seeing whatever you have in your life as a gift, as a sign, as a signal, right? To go inwards and connect with um, the power within yourself. Um, there's a quote called that my friend shared with me, and this quote said, um, I don't know, it's something along the lines of like, take the key to life and, hide it where man will never find it. And,
Mhm.
the saying goes, hide it within himself because he's never going to find it. And it's so true. I think so many people I didn't for many years. I had no idea who I was. I was running from myself, trying to hide from who I actually was. And when I just stopped trying to run from myself and just surrendered to what was and what is, then things became so much easier, and you can start accessing a different part of life and the experiences that you're having when you take the time to stop and be with yourself. So it's so beautiful, I think, this work, that you're
Mhm.
doing and connecting with people in that sense.
Absolutely. So, Anna Marie, when I'm really being present with you and I'm really observing and listening to everything that you're saying, you're giving out a lot of information, you're running them very fast and quick, um, and it's all great. But then, if you want to put ourselves in place of our followers, and you want to give them a tool. You see, I listened to you. I said, oh, magnificent. You have come such a long way, right? But then I can't find out what made you, like what process or what tools did you use to be able to come to this realization?
Which realization in specific?
For instance, you're saying that I was coming from my masculine energy, and I thought do, and all this thing, and then I was losing the feminine energy in the meantime, and then I realized that I'm putting so much force out there that is not necessary. So you came out to this realization, right? But was it a click? Is there a tools? What helped you to come to this realization?
Yeah, so for me, one of the really important things was working with a coach, and going on my own transformational journey. Um, and I think I also knew within myself that something wasn't right. So I had been following this other business mentor for a really long time, and his whole strategy was force, 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 force. I was like, followed that for a while, and then I kept coming back to the fact I was like, something isn't right about this. Something is not clicking for me. So I started kind of seeking other mentorship, and within that, I found um, the coach that I'm continuously working with now. That was kind of the beginning of things for me. Um,
Mhm.
and we are creatures of social learning, so I knew that I wanted to get back in touch with more feminine energy. And it was funny because when it all started to happen, um, it was learning to sit with myself, learning to sit in the silence and just genuinely explore what is inside of me. Because I think when I took the time to do that, I started to realize who I actually was and what was within inside of me. And the reason that something didn't click and it didn't feel right was because I knew within inside of myself, right? Your soul always knows whatever is inside of you, you always know. And I think that's what I always tell my clients is everything that you need in this life is already within inside of you. Everything. It's just knowing how to stop and access that. Um, so, and also a journey of um, self trust, working with the subconscious. Um, so I used to ask everybody questions for everything because I didn't trust myself. And now I'm at a place where I trust myself because nobody has any reason not to trust themselves, right? Um, and when you come back to that place of slowing down, getting curious about what's inside you, and starting to listen to what your body is telling you, starting to listen to your intuition again, um, is really how I started to get back in touch with that feminine energy and what wanted to actually come out of me and be expressed.
Mhm. Yeah. So, hey Doris,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good.
Hi.
How are you? Hi, Anne Marie. I'm Doris. Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Anne Marie, Doris also lives in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing. Where are you?
I'm in Vancouver, BC. What about you?
Oh my God, me too.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
I feel like Vancouver has such high vibration. I know so many spiritual people here. So, Sudejun, come here. It's your time.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
been to
right.
Vancouver a few times. I love it there. But sorry,
Yeah.
I'm a LA girl. Sorry
No.
about that. I
I
was
mean, it's
actually
the
thinking
West
about,
Coast.
yeah, this morning you came to my projection, Doris, for a second, and I thought maybe it's really funny. This is the part that I'm telling you guys, like something shows up and I don't know, and then I see it came up right here. And I thought maybe I should go to Canada, to Vancouver. I don't like Toronto. I'm sorry, guys, but
No,
No.
no, no.
yeah, I like Vancouver and Montreal also. But then again, I thought about this game with the vaccination. I mean, if I
Mm.
didn't think that because, I'm, well, let's not give my opinion now. But anyhow, so yesterday I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and she said, "So what are you going to do when you're going to travel?" I said, "Well, if it gets forced to be vaccinated, I'm just not going to travel." And that's the only thing right now. Like, I wanted to go to Costa Rica. A friend of mine is getting married, so I told him, "Yeah, I'll come for the wedding." But then again, I talked to him last week, and I said, "So what's up with Costa Rica?" And he says, because his girlfriend is Costa Rican, and he says, "Oh, you don't know what happened? I forgot to tell you." I said, "What?" He said, um, "They're very big in Easter. So on Easter Day, well, all the Costa Rican, and Costa Rica in total has 4 million. The population is 4 million. It's very small, right? So on Easter, they all mingle together, and 2,000 people get COVID in one day, Easter." And then the biggest hospital only has ventilation for 500 people. That's the most capacity they have there, right? So he said, "I don't know. And I don't know if you have to be vaccinated or what." I said, "Oh, forget it. It's too much story. Anyhow, so that's the thing with Vancouver. Yeah. But Doris and I did a joint live, and she's going to be with me every Tuesday. So tell Marianne a little bit about yourself, your journey, because she didn't watch our joint live.
How dare you not watch our lives on Tuesdays? Next week, you are tuning in, Anne Marie.
I love
Yeah,
So
it.
she's going to join
basically,
you.
I'm Doris. I'm 21 years old. I've been into spirituality since I was like 8 years old. I've been just questioning my existence, and little by little, my journey has built up to this point. I've done a lot of spiritual retreats here and there. I've done a 10-day silent meditation course. I've done a 200-hour yoga teacher training. But after all of this, I realized that the most important thing in your journey of spirituality is consistency and everyday practice. And I feel like you're always just growing and expanding. So it's not just like a one-time thing. And yeah, I met Sudi through my sister, and now we're best friends.
Oh, I
Are
love
we?
that.
I
Oh,
think we
I
are.
didn't know that, Doris.
I love my Taurus
Cutthroat,
woman.
Sudie.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's get into Doris was talking about, because we have experienced ADHD, Doris and I. Um, are you familiar with that? Have you ever experienced that? Did you or someone labeled you with OCD or ADHD?
I mean, I have a psychologist as a mother, so I've been labeled with all sorts of mental illnesses throughout my
Ah,
life, even though they're not
ah.
completely accurate. And honestly, I don't really believe in labels myself, but I do sometimes. My sister's always like, "Oh, like you need to focus more. You have ADHD, you have ADD, you need to, your attention span is so fast." And I agree. But at the same time, I feel like this is so normal these days. Everyone's attention span is shrinking. Everyone's on social media all the time. People are just really like always in motion, fast, 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 moving, moving, moving. So I think since everyone else is on the same page as me, I don't try to slow down. But since Sudijun brought it to my attention that I need to slow down, I think I'm going to try to incorporate that more into my life.
And why did
So,
I say that?
You said I need to slow down to present better to my audience and feel the audience more.
And
So
the
that's
next step,
listen to myself.
as you're speaking. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Anna Marie.
yeah,
What
so
were you gonna
as you were
ask?
speaking, there was something I've been looking into recently, and ADHD is I've been looking at some research where they say it's attention dialed into a higher dimension. So I love that because it started
Can
looking
you
at the
repeat that again, Anna Marie?
yeah, ADHD stands for attention dialed into a higher dimension.
Oh,
So
you gotta write that to us. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So I'm recording a podcast episode about it today anyways, but it's really powerful because it's talking about how, over the last like 20 or 30 years, there's been a lot more people who are incarnating with ADHD. And it's actually a lot of people who are, we don't like authority. We don't like being told what to do. We're huge visionaries. And
Yeah.
allowing ourselves to express in that way because the research that I was reading was saying that, we are the movers, we're the shakers, we keep things moving. And there's a lot more people who are coming to the earth with that right now because, um, there's a huge like evolution that's starting to happen now and things are moving quicker and, we're more tuned in.
Yes.
We have real empathy. We're really connected. We're crazy intuition. So yeah, it's amazing what I've kind of just been learning. My friend brought that to my attention, and then I just dove into that. And they were talking a lot about indigo children. I don't know if either of you are familiar
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I am.
yeah, so super cool. Maybe you can talk to us about that because I was just reading about it earlier today, and I was like, I love this term. I'm so into it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that you brought up the fact that this is part of our evolution. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that a lot of us are kind of not struggling, but we have shorter attention spans. We like to move quick. We like to talk faster. I
Hmm.
feel like that's just part of our evolution and we have to accept it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So it's all about I'm thinking like I felt that energetically and I since year 2000. So all those kids who were born from 2000 coming up, they're light worker, they're indigo children,
Hmm.
and that's why I love them so much. Yesterday, one of my friend, he had a 1 year or 14-month-old boy now, and it was such a pleasure. I spent 2 hours playing with him, and I just couldn't. It was so much joy, and we have this deep deep eye contact that is like so amazing, like he talks to me through his eyes you
Hmm.
know and we have moments that I just look into his eyes, is like it's hypnotic, and he hold eyes with me for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's just amazing because I'm feeling their energy. Oops, what happened to you, girl? She got kicked
The cat.
out. Sent a join request. See, that's what happened with indigo children. They're not supposed to be in joined lives. Oh, Jeff is here too. I didn't get to see Jeff. Okay. Let me see. Jeff, I sent you a join request. Uh,
Hi.
is he here?
Hello, good morning. It's not
Hi,
really
Jeff.
morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. So, were you hearing what we were chatting out about?
I was, yes, the ADHD and business and how it affects you when you're doing your own business and then you were kind of getting on to a little bit more spiritual conversation
Uh-huh. So, what's your thought on it?
on the ADHD and business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you're in business for yourself, it's the whole experience is crazy. And I think that it can easily like inspire you to be ADHD even if you weren't to begin with. You know? I mean,
I love that.
right now, like, I'm about to go live. I mean, my business partner and I are just trying to launch our landing page for our business. And like while I've been listening, it's like there's all of this stuff that needs to happen, and you just start going crazy. It's like, oh, did we confirm this? Did we talk to so and so? Did we get that ready? Is this ready? Is that ready? And it starts getting
Yep.
really crazy. And yeah, it's a crazy experience. One of the things that I have tried to do in the last few years of my life, and I've done it pretty well, it is to really like become very aware of where you're strong and where you're weak, and really not give a lot of energy to where you're weak, and hopefully, if you can, which we don't always get this ability, is find other people that can help make that up for you. So there's a guy that is out there in the world who has created this entire platform for entrepreneurs to connect. And when you join, you take like a Jungian style personality type test. And what he'll do is he'll say, based on how you answer this test, he'll give you what he calls your genius. He'll say, like, this is your genius, and give you a little bit of a profile breakdown of, these are the job duties that you're going to be really amazing at. And these are the things that are probably going to occur as a bit painful to you. And, one of those things that I'm learning kind of, that I've become well aware of, it's I can speak really well, I can communicate really well verbally, and I'm a really good writer if I'm writing really deep, thoughtful stuff. But I've been sitting here trying to craft like a welcome email when people sign up to our email list, and like there's nothing exciting about it. My partner's like, come on, man, like, can't we say something fun? Can't we say something exciting? And I'm like, no,
That's all I got.
not really. Like, this is why there's
Maybe that's
copywriters.
because you're not fun, Jeff.
It's what it is.
Because that-
I'm not fun, Sudie. So,
I can
and you
write
can,
a
Savage.
fun, welcoming.
then I'm gonna send it to
Oh
you.
my
Then
god.
you can write my welcome email. Like, but that's it. And you can kind of see, like,
I love
in
Sudhi.
how it kind of fits into the Jungian like kind of
That's
mentality.
my dry British humor.
It's
So
exactly right. And how it fits into that kind of like personality type where, because when I'm being more thoughtful or all that's kind of going more into the introspective, and this guy, like my business partner, he's very outgoing. He's very extroverted and very sensory. And, he's that like extroverted feeler guy. And so, yeah, it's easier for him to be like, let's say this and let's say that. It's like, why aren't you writing this email? Like, because, he's busy doing other things. And so that gets to that point where you can get scattered with the ADHD. I think what's helpful, again, is trying to just be aware of, if you struggle with something, I think that part of the ADHD comes from when you struggle with something and you're trying to force what you're struggling with. So as I'm sitting here with writing the copy for this welcome email, my brain is going in a million different directions, which, you'd say, oh, well, that's ADHD or OCD. And it's like, no, it's just because I'm not good at this.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was really good at this, because there's things that I'm really good at, like talking, and if I'm talking, I'm not thinking about writing copy for a welcome email if I'm in dialogue with somebody. So that's what I
Yeah.
think.
It's so true, yeah. And a lot of people who do actually have ADHD, the stuff that's really interesting to them, they can really focus on it quite easily. So like you're saying, you like dialoguing with people. And stuff that people with ADHD aren't interested in, it's like it doesn't exist. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you should try. I was just thinking of, go ahead, Judy.
yeah, I was going to tell you this. It was really funny. I hired someone to write a script. Like, my plan is to make my teachings, whether it's about abandonment issues or codependency or being shameful, to bring it into a script. So a couple of people can read read it as a script or something like that. So he sent me, he said, where should I start? I said, why don't we start with Betray? And he says, okay. And then he sent me the first draft, and I literally went to every single line and I changed it. And I said, how about that's kind of a little bit fake? How about if you change it into this? And then how about it like 20 voices? Like, and then I would read the second paragraph and say, I don't think this character would say this. How about if you change it into that? So he's very sweet and nice. He changed everything like exactly as I said, but there is two parts to the story, right? So my goal is first we're going to present the parts that the characters are doing it. Not, I don't want to call it wrong, but they're not aware and they're arguing and they're fighting and they're not understanding each other. And then the second draft comes when the characters are very aware and they're dealing with the same scenario, totally different, but with awareness now, right? So as he changes all these drafts, then I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that this is totally not matching up with the second part. So I'm going through another 20 voices and I'm like, look, but this character, if this character is saying that on the second draft, that husband is not that personality. So this doesn't match with that and this doesn't. And then at the end, I caught myself and I started laughing. I said, you're probably saying, why don't you write the damn script yourself and leave it alone? Because I was literally changing everything. And the time that I spent to correct or change every single line, I laughed about it and I said, you're probably saying, so sit down and write the damn thing. You're spending enough time to correcting it, so you might write it as well. It's going to be quicker. Boy, oh,
Is that
CD.
Virgo rising?
Yeah, we talked about that, right?
You know, another
Yeah,
thing is that like sometimes that behavior that you have, you sometimes almost can't get something started though. You know, it's like you almost need somebody else to start it. And those are very different skills that people have. Like this is again that self-awareness when you kind of learn about what you're good at and not so good at is that like there are people that can start something and have a hard time finishing it. And then there's people that have a hard time starting something but
Mhm.
can finish it, you know? And
Right,
this
right,
is
right.
where if we're smart and the idea behind like this guy's agenda, which I love, is if you can learn all of the different personalities, then you can become as acutely aware of your powers as possible and your weaknesses and surround yourself with people that are powerful where you're not. And so as a unit, you create this incredibly powerful unit. And I went to this guy's seminar in Vegas several years ago, and we had to form groups. And so we would go around. I was very, very clear on like when I would meet people, I would say like, you know, hey, what's your genius? They'd say this is that, and I'd say, well, I'm already that, so I don't want to pair up with you. And I would go around and make sure that every single kind of personality type was accounted for, and our group we didn't win, but we got like there was kind of like a little friendly competition in how we presented. We had to come up with like a service or a product and then sell it. And we got to the finals, you know, and I believe a lot of that was because we had all of those different personality types accounted for. So it's like, okay, you're the person that can do that really well. You're going to do that really well. And you can kind of assign everybody. And everybody was like happy because everybody's like, yeah, like this is what I'm good at, you know, and everybody got really excited rather than people kind of sitting around going like, I don't know, like I'm supposed to do this thing, but I'm not really good at it. So now I'm like going to check my phone and getting all distracted with stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
what was
like
the
that.
result at the end?
What was that?
What was the result at the end? What did it come out of it?
Um, I mean, the whole purpose of the seminar was a live kind of coaching around these concepts so that you could kind of take away how to run your business kind of through that lens. Everything else was kind of more just exercises designed to kind of get us, turning those wheels of what that looked like. And he would sit up there and bring people up and illustrate examples in real time and, work with people that had businesses and stuff like that in real time. But that was the takeaway. The takeaway was just to walk away with an acute self-awareness of what you have, but being able to see these different groups and see what it looks like when different people are executing their genius. And that way, when you go into the world, and like with my business partner, like we're similar. We're not the same. He's more, he leans further towards the extroverted feeler than I do. But we're actually still both kind of like idea people. We're both thinkers. We're both kind of head in the clouds a lot of the time. Versus like my brother's not. He's like stone cold, and it's not like he's not a funny guy, but he's like a stone cold, analytical, introverted thinker type. And so whenever we meet with him, it's just like, no, you guys need to get real. You need to get practical. You need to, and he'll sit there and see all this stuff. And it's not that that's a negative energy to us it's nothing right or wrong. He's not wrong because our heads are in the clouds. It's our heads are in the clouds and he's kind of giving us some foundation. Like, hey, have you guys checked this T and dotted this I and really thought about this? Or are you sure about this or that or the other? And we're like, oh, okay. And it's good to have that completely different energy show up that can kind of be a little bit more cool, calculated, analytical about stuff, even more analytical than I can be. And that's the cool thing. So you make sure like that you have 3 to 4 of these different energies in your little unit to give you the best, most complete shot at kind of getting your thing launched and off the ground and successful.
Yeah, that's great. But how long can you sustain that? That's the question.
I don't know how do you mean that?
I mean, just as you were speaking, your brother is very analytical and he's telling you, and you're up the air, and he comes and you see a different aspect. But can you use that? Do you remember that every day? I mean, it's helpful to see, but how long can you sustain that?
Well, I think you can, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think you can sustain it indefinitely depending on how big your business gets. And I don't mean it has to get big, but what I mean is if you have more than one person. So,
No, I'm not talking about that. Let me be more specific and clear. You're saying your personality is more up in the cloud, right? Your brother is bringing to your attention that he's very analytical and say, hey, you're up there. You should be more logical and you should be da, da, da. You get this information, but can you use it now? Can you sustain it using his aspect or his side or his information every day?
Well, yes. I mean, it requires kind of touching base, so, and I think that, and I use the term head in the clouds. I think maybe just more visionary, like you're a bit more visionary. You see a bit more possibility. You think that the world needs something or that, something has a lot of potential, and he's just more practical. So it's more visionary and possibility versus very practical and frugal. And it's more about just checking in. So can you sustain it? Like, can I sustain his practical side in my life? Yeah. I mean, I think that because the more you do that, this is just the self-awareness of you're giving yourself a certain amount of rope to run with, and you're setting a threshold for yourself. So, you're just learning, it's building a muscle like anything else to say, hey, wait a minute, I started to run down the field. Maybe I should check in with my brother before I run any further down the field. And so you don't do that on the very first try, but after a while you start to learn like, okay, cool, I've got this idea. I'm feeling very visionary. I'm feeling very hopeful. I want to run down this field. but I'm going to train that muscle to check in with my brother and be like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? How does this land with you?
What
Have
do
you
you
heard of
think,
that?
Anna?
Yeah, there's a book called, I haven't read it yet, but I know the concepts in it, Rocket Fuel or something like that. And it's talking about how you hire, there's always in a business someone who is the visionary, and then there's someone who is the integrator, which is the director of operations. So someone who is a visionary has different duties than someone who is a integrator. The integrator is in terms of like a disc profile kind of personalities that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The visionary is like the D and the I. So, they connect with people, which is the driver and the social person. The person who's the S
Mm-hmm.
and the C is person who's like steady. Um, they are really calculated. They start thinking about all the things that you were talking about, So it sounds like you're the visionary and your brother is the integrator or director of ops. So I think if you are looking to scale something, you need to have someone who is the head in the clouds driving, the ideas. If that's the kind of business that you want, is to create change in the world, which I think, you get into business to create change and all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of what you were saying, it resonated.
What do you think, Doris?
Well, I haven't started a business yet,
No,
but I
just the
think,
concept.
yeah,
Mhm.
I see myself as more the person with the ideas. I'm not very good at, like seeking all possibilities. Actually, I'm not gonna label myself with anything, but for now, as of now, I'm more interested in coming up with ideas and putting ideas out into the world. That's the kind of, I don't know which one it is. Is it the visionary from the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see myself more as a visionary for now.
Mhm. Well, I don't know. I kind of think that it's very hard for people, although they get the other side, to become that and to be able to use it, because everyone's personality is so established. Even if I come and I tell you that, look, you need to be more grounded and you need to be blah, 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 and this is how you have to do it, it's extremely difficult for people to switch that. And
Mm-hmm.
people are not going to, um, let's say that I'm somebody's is my sister or my brother and I coach them. They're not going to get back with me every day and say, am I being really logical? Am I doing this? And it's very hardly because people get back so quickly into their norms that in a matter of couple of days they won't even remember the conversation or how it was to be different. So that's what I think. I'm not sure that knowing that who you are, because the majority of people, they know somehow what side they're coming from, but the difficult part is to bring both parts into balance, or to even remember what to do or the information that they got and how to use that information in their daily tasks. That's what.
Let me add a couple things to that. So, number one, I get more clearly what you're saying. And no, I'm not going to become like my brother. Like, if that's how you meant it, like, I'm not going to sustain that where I'm going to start to think like my brother. That's not going to happen. Um, and there's a couple different ways when you become aware of who you are and your strengths to kind of see what the best path forward is, because there are some people that believe that they believe in balance. I know you believe a lot in balance, but there's a lot of people that believe in balance that's like, well, if my weakness, like you and I were talking about this before, about having that plan, and like having a rigid plan occurs to me as ultimate pain. I don't Now, having no plan also occurs to me as pain. What I want to do is have a degree of organization and focus, and then a lot of looseness and autonomy and free flowing flexibility within knowing that we're all moving in this direction, that there's a goal and a focus. Now, um, what happens is I don't know that I think that people intuitively know how to be aware and form a good team, because I think that like social butterflies like to collect. They like to get together with other social butterflies, and they're all together and they're like, oh, we're all social and we like each other, and look, we're the same, we should all start a business or something. And then you have a lot of introverted thinker types, and they're all just sitting there and they're being introverted and they're thinking, and they're like, yes, we're all, they feel good and comfortable with each other, and they say, yes, maybe we should form a business and stay together. Okay, both of those are bad. It's like, no, because you're the introverted thinker, it's like you need, that's where this whole idea comes in. It's like you need that extroverted feeler to go out and sell your business, because you're not going to do it. You're going to
Yeah.
fail at it. You need to sit in an office where you're happy, not interacting with people, running
Yeah.
things, and you need to hire
Close
that
the door
person.
and put a do not disturb
That's
sign
right.
outside.
And then hire that person to go out into the world and interface with people and get on stages and get into meetings and sell it. And then have, somebody who's super ear to the ground, very sensory, that can advise you on trends. Like, hey, look, I've always got my eyes open. I've always got my ears to the ground, and it seems like people are moving in this direction. I think this is happening. I think that's happening. And so they become almost like your scout, right? So now you're like, okay, so this person's running things. They're super analytical. That person's out there selling the idea. Then this person's over here really kind of like keeping watch on the industry and the way things are moving. And you can kind of see how you're putting this team together, and if everybody can learn to get along and respect each other's differences, then you're bringing like everyone's superpower from these wide ends together to form something that's way kind of like the sum is greater, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so my point is, like we were talking the other day about feminine and masculine energy, and I said it shouldn't be either or, it should be how do I bring both of them constantly into balance and use both sides of yin and yang is the same concept. What I'm saying is I know that this is the way I am, and I know the other side. So how can I bring these two both together and start using it? So the example that you said, if I'm introvert, knowing that, then I have to build up the muscle to be an extrovert. So in a daily task, how much work do I put to bring this to balance, so I don't have to count on an extrovert to do myself or to do that. You see what I'm saying, to not to be this or that, because in a way we're still labeling ourselves. If I'm saying that I'm an introvert and I need someone else to be the opposite to go and get it, I'm still labeling myself, number one, that I'm an introvert, and I'm going to be stuck with that belief that I'm an introvert and this is who I am, and I'm going to stuck to it, and I'm not going to make the other part to work to make the other muscles that I'm weak at to strengthen the other muscles to bring both sides into balance.
I think you can set little goals to get there. I think that like, for an introvert, because I'm a part of, some coaching circles that teach people how to be more social, that there's a lot of introverts and they're teaching them how to be social. And the one thing that an introvert is typically pretty good at is generally pretty good at planning and scheduling and that kind of stuff. And so it's literally like you put on your schedule so many nights a week, you're going to go out for this period of time and you're going to talk to people and you're going to meet people. And it becomes, that's how you develop that habit. It's like we're going to train that extroverted muscle. Don't go out for a day and have to interface with people all day. Don't go to some festival and expect to talk to people all weekend. It's no. Go out 3 times a week, 4 times a week for an hour each time or whatever it is, or a couple hours, and learn, talk to a number of people each time. So you have these little goals that become boxes you can check. Okay, I went out for an hour and I talked to 5 people, or I went out for 2 hours and I talked to 3 people, or, and you can kind of keep this log, and that's going to help an introvert get more extroverted. And then, like, for me, it's like, I need a calendar. Well, I hate it. It's like, I don't like that calendar. And I get that calendar reminder. I'm like, I don't like you, calendar reminder. Like, I don't want you telling me what to do with my life. It's like, I want to do what I want to do, but there's this calendar reminder telling me what to do, so that's how,
Maybe
these
you
are
do
ways,
have ADHD.
maybe.
Yeah, so the whole point is what I'm saying, guys. What I'm saying that maybe we should advance the teaching a little bit more and start getting people out of the belief of who they are and take away the label. I mean, that's what I do in my webinars and in my teaching. Once they realize the personality that they have built up, then we're going to break down the whole personality. That you're not this and you're not that and you're not this and you're not that. And now we're going to rebuild something else. And now that we're rebuilding something else, we're going to bring all of these traits into balance. That's advancing, to me, the teaching. What do you
Hmm.
think, Anna Marie?
Yeah, I definitely think, it comes back to at an identity level who you believe that you think that you are. But I think there is something to play with what Jeff is saying, your strengths and like your personality and who you are. But I also believe that, your identity, you can shift it, you can mold it to be what you want it to be with the right tools. So, um, yeah, I implement both of them in my life. I'm really aware of what my personality profile is. And, I have no desire, no intention. My personality can't mold into somebody who can long-term sustainably do the driving behaviors. So that's what I look for when I hire somebody. But I know at the same time, I can be somebody who is more committed. I can focus on being more self-integral. I can focus on learning the skills to, you know, taking on that other kind of role when I need to. But once my business is hiring, once I have somebody full-time integrator, I don't want to be doing things that I'm not interested in doing. So that is, the nitty-gritty, the operations, the behind the scenes kind of stuff that doesn't interest me. It's not what I want to do. So, yeah, but I think you can change your subconscious identity into being somebody who is more committed, more organized, more focused. So I think they're a little bit of different things, but and the way that they play in, I understand what both of you are saying, and I totally believe that taking the labels away from yourself and not identifying with those so closely are, you can be and do and have whatever you want in your life. You can decide any moment and any time of the day to change it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for it's a lot of mind training. Like for me, someone who was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disease or ADHD, if I wanted to continue believing on those labels, I would never change my life. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, why I start believing in those labels. Well, I'm an OCD, so of course I do this. I have attention deficit, so of course I can concentrate. And you bore me and get to the point and don't go there. And I was trying to control everybody and making them wrong because I couldn't concentrate. If you wouldn't write to the point in the quickest time, in a one sentence, you told me what you were saying, you lost me. I was gone because I would get bored. Like, I don't want to follow you here and there. I don't have, right?
Yeah.
So, but by me starting to meditate and start being able to control the mind instead of my mind controlling me, I went beyond all this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said to myself one day, okay, It's not that I'm not good at technology. It's just that technology doesn't interest me. So, what if I change my belief about my interest and make it extremely interesting? Now I can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So,
And it's a, go ahead.
mhm. So the main point is what I'm trying to say is if it all comes back to the level of we willing to train our brain, then there's no obstacle. There's nothing in there that I'm good at or I'm bad at or is my strength or my weaknesses. It's just what I'm willing to put. If I feel like something, if I believe that I'm weak in something or that's not my strength, instead of continue thinking that, I would change the way I'm thinking about that, and I'm going to say I'm going to be amazing and I'm going to put my whole attention and focus on it, and I become one of the best.
Hmm. Yeah, it's creating your reality, and that's where the power is, learning to master your mind. And that's what I,
Master your mind is
yeah,
all about I think the rest of it is just jumbo bumbo. That's
yeah.
my opinion.
It's just,
I mean,
it
all
is.
these courses and classes.
It's life is just a game, and that's all the game is using your mind in the direction that you want to go, and yeah, mastering it. So I love that. That's all that there is. Nothing more, nothing less.
There we go. So, guys, I'm going to end it live. Whoever wants to get in and say something, your last word or whatever, before we end the live.
I want to say something.
No, Dorothy, you can't. Go ahead.
So I think a tool, since we're speaking about tools to
Yes.
use when we want to change our personality, is affirmations. To me, affirmations are the quickest way to change your vibration. If I'm in a vibration where I think, oh, I'm procrastinating, I'm not focused, I'm lazy, I can't do this. But if I change it to, I'm getting so much done, I'm so productive, right away I jump into a vibration that is higher and I can focus. You just have to make yourself believe, trick your subconscious mind to think that you are the thing that you want to be.
Hmm.
So that's a tool that everyone can use. Affirmations in the mirror, write them down, say them to yourself out loud. And first thing in the morning, I think they work best when you do it first thing in the morning and like last thing at night. Or you can also listen to them during sleep because
Mhm,
your subconscious listens when you're sleeping.
mhm.
That's it.
I love
Great
that.
point. Have you ever recorded yourself, Doris, with those affirmation and listen to your own voice?
No, should I?
I would say that's only an option.
Okay. Everyone subscribe to my YouTube.
I
What
love
is your
it.
YouTube? What is your
Oh,
YouTube, Doris?
it's Dory's Moj. I think it's the exact same as my Instagram.
Okay, okay, they're gonna sign in. What about you, Jeff? Any end words?
Nope.
Thank you.
I said what I wanted to say.
That was great and quick. Anna Marie.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say thank you so much for having me here today, Sudie, and it was so nice meeting you, Jeff and Doris. And I think to top it all off is we create our own realities, and when you get around the people who make you feel alive, like the three of you, you guys lift each other and elevate each other, and that's what it is all about, is connecting with people and creating this amazing life for yourself. So yeah, thanks so much for having me. And if anybody who's listening is interested in getting to know more about my services or anything like that, I just launched a podcast called ADHD Refresh. And I also do group and one-on-one coaching for ADHD entrepreneurs to help them step into powerful CEOs. So if anybody's interested, they can go over to the link in my bio. Please follow me, follow everybody else who's on here as well. And yeah, thank you so much for this space. It's been tons of fun.
Beautiful, great guys. And I just want to let you know that as I'm doing join live with others, or on days that I'm doing join on my by myself, you guys are more than welcome anytime to join in, drop in. And I think it's fun for all of us to get together and jumping in and out. And we support each other. That's what we're here for. So let's start supporting each other, tag and pin, and merging to each other's Instagram or whatever. And then we all helping each other to grow.
Yeah, I love it.
Great plan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
See
sweetie.
you.
you.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
soon. See you guys soon. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sudhi Burnett English. Also support Anna Marie, Doris, and Jeff. And whoever sign up for my YouTube channel, Sudhi Burnett English, you will receive a gift. See you all. Have an amazing day. And I shall see you soon with another Join Live. Thank you. God
Thanks,
bless.
sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.